Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good to say I dabbled in stand-up for something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr Podcast. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, all of the places. Thank you for joining us on this foggy. If you're in the New York area, good luck seeing outside your window. The orange fog has lifted maybe 10%. I think the last 2 days, New York City was considered the worst air quality of all time ever in the whole universe. So that's exciting. At least we're on top in one area of life, right? Who knows? But you know who's going to survive this just fine? Our homeless. They are virtually unkillable. I've got some stand-up shows coming up. Woo! I'm going to be in Jersey. This is great. I've already heard that this venue is already getting calls for people trying to cancel my show. Good luck, haters. You idiots. I'll be in Morris Plains, Jersey. That's New Jersey, Saturday, July 8th at Tiff's Ale House with the gorgeous and hilarious Keanu Thompson opening for me. This Richmond, Virginia show is canceled, but not because of little old me, but because the club is shutting down. So I'm going to try to find another gig in the Richmond area. Otherwise, I'll see you at Anime Matsuri in Houston, August 10th through the 13th. The George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston. Simpcast will be at the convention. We'll have a panel. We'll have a booth. We'll be there cosplaying, hanging, signing boobs, the whole 9 yards. Then I'll be headlining in Houston that same weekend. Friday, August 11th at the Secret Group. Lila Hart will be opening for me as well. Get your tickets now if you know you're going to be at the convention. It's always good to have plans. Always good to have a place to be. And it's nice and early. You can keep drinking after the show. In fact, that's going to be my plan. Anyway, I'm so excited to have another female comedian on the show. She's done tons of sketches. She acts in them. She produces them. She works closely with the Babylon Bee. She's prolific. And she has curly hair like me. So we're going to get along just great. Welcome to the show, Chandler Juliet. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
I don't have a sound effect thing set up, but someone did send me this sound machine.
Let's pick one.
So I really like this laughing sound.
Like, which one's it going to be? I wasn't sure. I usually have like the...
Wah, wah, wah. Oh, rap horn. Do you know, Chandler, this is life-changing. This is my favorite app on my entire phone. We were just talking about apps earlier. I have an app on my phone called, it's right here. Oops, it's on this side. It's called Rap Horn.
Okay.
And you open it, and it's literally this. That's the whole app. And it's my favorite one.
I love that. I think I need to download that right now because I always make the noise with my mouth.
It just sounds like breaking glass. This is
like
very
that.
Low budget, but I love it.
I like that. That's like a nifty little gadget you got there.
It's so nifty. I was looking at some of your sketches and I was like, this probably is not going to come off as a compliment, but I was like, wow, if Chandler wanted to, she could play Chelsea Clinton. Like, if you really wanted to. Like, she's not been in the news really much at all. Maybe next time she's promoting a book or something, or if her mother Hillary takes over and, throws us all in camps, maybe that would be a good time. But
that's actually interesting because I've been thinking like who can I actually impersonate, like that's in the topical scene. I guess she's not that topical. But that's actually really funny. I've been looking for someone topical because I feel like I only really look like Lucille Ball, which is obviously a big compliment. And I've gotten Kristen Stewart when I was younger, so I kind of want to do something with
Oh, yes. Maybe if you slip into a deep depression, you'll look like her again. Yeah.
this doesn't really have much like and I'm like very expressive, so that's actually going to be quite a challenge for me to like not move my face. So I'm excited for that challenge. But yeah, and then I think that's it. And then once someone told me that I look like Alexandra Daddario. I don't even know if you know who that
Who
is.
is that?
She was in White Lotus. Did you watch that? It wasn't really that great.
Dario. I definitely
She was
spelled
in
it
like
wrong.
fantasy movies. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Her hair is so dark.
yeah, I don't know.
She looks like kind of a glammed up, maybe Wednesday Addams. No, she looks like actually a female Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh, that's definitely not a compliment.
No, it's not. Okay, let me put
Compliment.
pictures just because our listening audience is going to die of curiosity. Doesn't this look like a female Dylan Mulvaney? You're way better looking than her.
Oh, well, that's very
Wow.
good of you. I do see it though. Like I think the features, like I could see because so I've heard that in person and I've heard that on some like Babylon Bee videos. Like, how'd you get
love
Alexandra
it.
Daddario to act for the Bee or something? I was like, oh, that's interesting.
You know, I could also
Or
see Deborah
Deb-
Messing for you.
I was just gonna say,
Jinx.
saying
All right,
Jinx.
we're gonna do
Because
the
I
quote
think
for
she
you.
looks way more like Lucille Ball than Nicole Kidman. Like she looks so much like her. There are sometimes like when I'd see pictures of her and I'm just like, oh my gosh, the mouth, like the lips look so much like Lucille. I just don't know why. I guess a money thing, but I just like, I don't know. Like Nicole Kidman can't move her face.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could do Amy Adams. I mean, like, there's probably people in here that are like, don't you guys look alike? So we can impersonate each other. Basically, any white woman, I think you can do. You know, it's you have a lot of hair to put back, but like throw it in a wig. I wish I had more time or made more time to do impressions. I've done a couple like here and there, but I would really like to do if I didn't do podcasting and one of the things would have to go for me to like dedicate more time to say like sketches or impressions. But are you you're from LA?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, but you're tolerable. What happened?
Well, I think I was raised by some musicians that were from the East Coast. So they moved to LA to be session players. My dad plays trombone, my mom plays violin and sings, and they made their own records and they worked for they worked for Fox. They worked in the like all the big band music that you hear for Family Guy and Simpsons and some big were in those bands. So my parents raised us out here and raised us with the values, you know, I guess. So I don't know. I think that what we were talking about before we hit record is common sense used to just be really common. And, you know, I don't know. I think as time has gone on and I had my time in the music industry for about a decade. And
you were a singer. I listened to one of your songs. I was like, this is Chandler. It sounded great. I was like, you're multi-talented.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel very grateful that I've been able to pivot because I was really, really, really focused on that for so long. I put all of my soul and energy into songwriting and performing and just perfecting my live performance and my sound and everything. And I really loved it. And everything got really intense during the pandemic, obviously. Like I wasn't able to perform in venues. That was one. And then everything just got really intense politically. And I just felt this major cultural shift happening where you're kind of like required to be an activist. And I'm just not, and that's just not me anyway. Like, like for any side, like I'm just not going to be like, yeah. And that's going to become my whole brand is like, no, that's just not, no, I'm an artist. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to make people feel things and laugh and smile. And it's kind of funny. Like I've always loved the feeling of making people laugh more than even making people clap for hearing a song. You know, I was the class clown in elementary. So I always kind of was like, if music doesn't work out, I'm going to do like stand up or something. Like there was always like a little thought in my head, but it was like, I need to focus on this right now and just put all my eggs in this basket. And I did. And I'm really grateful that I did. And when the time came to make content on my own in 2020, things started happening really quickly, and I just took it as a sign, and I caught the other vine, and I'm very, very grateful that it's going in the direction it's going, because
Did you go to school for music? Like, were you like classically trained and all that?
Well, I studied different instruments growing up. I actually learned like 7 or 9 instruments. I played cello.
Wow. What are you, Lizzo?
Oh my gosh, it's funny. No, Lizzo's actually a really talented musician. So I know she's actually a really good flautist. My sister plays flute. So anyway, yeah, I played violin and cello for the longest. I studied and I took lessons, and I was in orchestras growing up, and I taught myself how to play guitar and sing. So yeah, I would say I'm classically trained, but when I got to college, I did theater and I did music for a second, and then I did business, and like nothing was like clicking, and I went back to film and basically studied film production and media management and things like that. So it was a pretty well-rounded college experience, and all the while I was playing shows and recording my songs and really just caring way more about that than school. But
wow.
But yeah, it got in there.
School out in LA?
Yeah, Cal State Northridge. I didn't really go far.
Were you hanging out with the theater kids much? Like,
I didn't really fit in with them at all. Like, at all. So people have told me, like, I have theater kid energy, but I don't really know like a lot about theater or
that's
Broadway.
almost an insult. Like, wow, you think
I know. Well,
I think I'm like a narc, like hall monitor vibes. Yeah.
I just didn't.
Theater kids are just extra.
I didn't vibe with them. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And I don't know. I actually, yeah, I don't know what it is about me. And I think that now that I'm kind of coming of age, I'm gonna be 30 in a couple of years. I'm like, I think that the reason why I don't like fit into groups is probably something under the surface. Like, I think it's my value system, because I've always been like trying to join groups, and then I realized like I'm just in a very liberal, like very extremely liberal community, and it's crazy when you come down to the bottom of these like fundamental values, like, you know, I don't know, for example, like where life begins, and it's just like I don't know, we don't talk about it every day, but I think that there's something energetically different underneath the surface, and I don't know. I've accepted it. I have a husband to be. I'm very excited about that.
Yay, you're engaged.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Have you started planning yet? I'm planning mine too. I'm not wearing my ring because I was like showering, and now I feel like a bad person because I don't have it on. But
starting to plan, it's what everyone said it would be. It's a lot. But
it's either you do a courthouse or you go into debt. Like, there's really no in between.
It really upsets me.
Yeah.
That you can throw a party and it will be X amount, and then the W word, wedding, it's like, oh, really? That's gonna be like times 5, times 6 the amount. It's just crazy. I do resent that, and I still want to do it that way. So
it's fun. It's also like you do tell yourself like there are some things that you don't have to. Some costs you don't have to submit yourself to. Like, this one place wanted to charge $1,800 just to hang up like bistro lights, which are those like globe shaped circular string lights. $1,800 fucking dollars to set up and take them down. And I was like, no, we're gonna buy them off Amazon for $100, and we're gonna figure out a way to do them ourselves. Like, there are some costs where you're just like, no, you're just trying to bang me out over a stove. I don't know why that's the visual,
but convenience fee too. Where are you guys gonna do it?
I'm not telling people because I'm worried they're gonna swat the wedding.
Okay, no, that's smart. That's smart, actually.
Yeah, we've been swatted twice, so I'm just like,
have you been the recipient of some like bad?
I've been the swatee, yes, twice a swatee, and I loved your kombucha sketch too. That was really funny because there is a part of me that. Like, there's maybe a timeline where I could have been like an LA person, because I really used to be really into yoga. I mean, still into it, just don't have the time. Really into astrology. I had a kombucha phase, like all of it. Green juice. I was very crunchy, very feminist, but
yeah, I'm making fun of myself a lot of the time. Some people in the comments are like, actually kombuchas. It's like, I love kombucha. I'm making fun of like these little, so I hear you though.
You said a really interesting thing. Like, it's this pressure to, when you're in the arts, you almost like have to be an activist. Like, you can't opt out of that. When did you start to feel like that was part of it?
Well, it's kind of always been present. But I would say that it wasn't so much of the forefront of the conversation until 2020, especially like June 2020. That's when everything got really, really crazy. Everyone was at home, not doing much, not going out. And then the George Floyd thing happened. And then we see every white influencer, guys, now's the time. We need to shut up and stop making this. It's like, guys, I don't know, that it was an extreme time. And it was kind of around then that my paradigm was shifting, because I was like, should I do something? I actually felt like I should do something. And I was still kind of in that world. It's been like a 2-year process of me just kind of following my own arrow away from Hollywood. I still live here, but
that must be hard to do, because you're living there, you're trying to have professional relationships, and you have friendships with people that are probably very much brainwashed or about it, or it's like,
yeah.
I feel like they're either totally about it, or they're like you, or they're like, okay, I'm trying to work and live here, but I'm not really about the activism. And then people that are like in between, like they maybe don't feel like it's right, but they don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I made a decision basically before I started doing anything. I'm like, okay, so I'm prepared for everyone to unfollow me. Everyone's going to leave me. I was very mentally prepared for that. And in a way, I kind of like rejected I was like, I'm removing myself from this, because I just don't want to be in spaces where anyone's going to give me any shit. So like,
the pandemic is when you switched from like a music career to more sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it started. Yeah. And it's been a process for sure. It didn't happen all at once, but it started with like, I think the first actual like video I made was a musical like parody that I produced musically, and it was a rap that my roommate and I did, if COVID was a rapper. And we were kind of like being like, it's as if the COVID germ was like a female rapper, and was like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Like it was really fun. But then I was like, am I going to offend people? Is this going to really hurt me? And I was concerned. I was like, I don't want to be insensitive, because obviously people are, getting sick, and a lot of people are dying. Like, I don't want to be insensitive, but I also think that it'd be funny if COVID was a rapper. No. It's not my best work.
No? Okay.
You can play it if you want. But yeah.
Oh, no. I think this is cute. I mean, I haven't watched this yet.
It's my first video, guys. So like,
first video. Why? No, we're not going to play the whole thing, but I'm just like, I think this is great. I mean, I love it. Caution. You're doing it.
Comedy video. I've done lots of music videos, but yeah.
Paper, you want some plans? You want employment?
This is great. It's like,
we had fun.
Take your money, take your dreams, scare you. That's so fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it was fun, and it really provided a lot of laughter for us, me and my roommate, and we had fun. But it was like a learning process of like, I know what my intentions are when I make these comedy bits. If anyone's going to take it differently, like that's their prerogative. But I know that I'm just trying to provide some levity and some laughter, because it is heavy. It's still heavy. And I think we're going to be dealing with the aftermath of this for a while. Apparently, it's already been 3 years, and I feel like stuff is still like up, like this energetically, something's still off. So I just want to do my part and brighten people's days. So.
I love that. It's interesting. You're like, I was braced for people to like unfriend you. With this, do you mean with this first comedy, this first like sketch about like if COVID was a rapper, or generally, do you feel like you started to be a little bit more outspoken about like the bullshit that was going on with the lockdowns and all that?
Yes, I would say that was just the first one, and then as time went on, I just had to make a choice pretty much every single time I hit upload, and every time, that I started working with the Bee, I was like, okay, like, is this gonna get me like canceled? Of course, like no big blowout happened was kind of the main surprise to me. I thought that it was going to be a big, ugly thing, but no, people just fell away, and I found more people that were in alignment, and that's kind of how it goes anyway. Like it's been a process, but I was so petrified by fear that I was going to be left and everyone was going to, think I just really didn't want people to think I'm a bad person, because I know I'm not a bad person, and I love people. I truly do. And I just had to accept that some people are just going to think that. They're just going to think that I'm a jerk, a white supremacist, or bigger, or whatever they want to say. And, I did lose pretty much most of my network, like my network that I made music with, they're just
Wow.
like, they either unfollowed me, like some of my favorite producers, like unfollowed, or just literally won't even respond to my text messages.
Whoa.
This is like a scene though that is so toxic and like just lacking in professionalism and integrity anyway. Like it's
Not respond. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have somebody tell me to my face, like,
Mhm.
then I looked and like over the years, I'd be like, oh, my tight group of friends from college all unfriended me on Facebook. I mean, I'm like, okay, Facebook is for boomers, no big loss anyway. I'm barely on Facebook, but
Yeah.
just like, wow.
Yeah, I'm probably still Facebook friends with all of them because no one.
But what I notice is that all their husbands I'm still Facebook friends with because like I feel like guys don't really care about this shit as much as like like all my white liberal friends from college, like I'm sure they all got together and was like, we're unfriending her for January 6th. Goodbye. And it's like, all right, I hope that makes you happy.
LA boys do. They do care. Those are the ones that unfollowed me. They're like, because they're all beta males out here. But wait, what was your experience with January 6th? Were you there?
I was there. I wasn't like one of the all stars, like podium guy or Viking guy. I didn't go inside. It was boring.
You
Stayed
weren't
outside.
paid to be there, basically.
I was there to do independent media. I just was there to do interviews and cover it and take videos and do like man on the street because I had been there in November and December and I was like I just liked covering the rallies because I felt like the media was lying about how they're saying they were poorly attended and they were like not really a thing and they were all super crowded. And then I started speaking out after January 6th. I'm like, yeah, it was actually like pretty chill. And then, all the information comes out about the FBI infiltrating all these different groups. And it's like, yeah, it makes sense that it was set up to make the conservatives look bad, basically, because there's no basically answer to BLM. There was nothing to demonize the right about. So they just made January 6th that thing.
Yeah.
Boils my blood when most people are so gravely uninformed. But it's not even their fault because the mainstream media they very much had an agenda and they wanted to push the day to look and sound a certain way. And like even the idiots in my mentions, like, oh, 6 people died. It's like, no, one person was shot and the other people had heart attacks. Like everyone calm down. That's like, that would be an incredible weekend for Chicago even. But since it involved right wingers, it's worse than 9/11.
Yeah, domestic terrorists. It's really crazy. When I try to just remind myself, I try to just keep the perspective of how over informed we are. We say, yeah, people are underinformed, but that's in a reality where like every single thing that happens is like immediately, instantly reported on. And I just don't think that, I don't know if you're a believer, I don't think that God ever designed us to have that much information and access to information ever. And I think it is a little bit intense to be able to know like what tragedy happened in like Bangladesh today. It's crazy. Like
I don't even care when I have the information. It's like
like I've gotten to that point too where it's just like I don't have the capacity to care about like the global community. And I think that it's actually quite naive to think that, well, like one world, one love, like we only have one earth, this whole globalist.
No. Yeah,
like,
I'm just trying to take the trash out on time. I can't worry about the global community. My bed isn't even made most days.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do I get off giving a fuck about other countries? Like I barely, you know what I mean? It's like
that's a great point. We have to take care of ourselves and we have to take care of our families and our small inner circles and our communities. That's all we really have control over is ourselves and our day-to-day, if that, so yeah, I think that it's crazy. And with that being said, it is nuts that we are in an information. We say we're in the information age, but it is a war. Every day, the media chooses which stories to highlight, and they choose the one that's going to sell the most products. It's going to stoke the most fear. And it is really exhausting. And that's why I deleted my Twitter off my phone.
You deleted Twitter, Chandler? How could you?
I didn't delete my account. I don't really go on that much, and I only really post like one-liners anyway. Like I noticed that Twitter, I've never really vibed with it. I've always been more of an Instagram person. Like I'm a visual person. I just find it more enjoyable as a user and as a creator. But every time I'd go on, it's like, well, this is this. Well, actually, I agree with this part, but actually that. It's just like everyone's spewing their opinion out over and over all day, every day. And I'm just like, I'm not one to argue. Like, I've never been one to want to debate. And that's why I never want to be a pundit or be branded as like anything like a right-wing influencer. Like, that's not me at all. Like, I am not prepared or interested in backing up any of my opinions when it comes to politics or anything. Culturally, sure, I'm an expert in culture, but I'm not trying to debate. That's just not my vibe at all.
Do you feel like you're getting pigeonholed into that, or you're
No, I just want to make sure that I won't be, because that's not even, I'm not going to be an activist at all.
It doesn't sound fun.
No, and that's just not really me. Like, I'm just not on these extreme ends, I think that most people are pretty commonsensical. Well, I would like to believe that. Did you know that common sense does not mean the common sense, but the collective of our senses gives us a common sense?
So like listening to your gut, or
like your intuition, what you see, what you smell, etc. We should pay more attention to that.
That's interesting what you said about social media, because it does. It's way too much information about everything. That's why we're all burnt out. That's why kids are getting depressed. It's like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to see what people that we went to high school are doing. Yes, it is satisfying to see that the popular girl's getting fat. That I like that for me. But maybe we don't need to see our college friends that you don't work with, don't share values with, not creating with. It's like, it's just too much. And you see just a sliver. It's so easy for someone to get triggered, like just today. And I'm like, not trying to like shoehorn this with my thing, but I interviewed Laura Loomer yesterday on my YouTube channel. And I'm just like, she's fascinating to me because I feel like she's very misunderstood. But for a 30-year-old, I feel like she's accomplished so much. She's very well spoken. I think she's very intelligent. She really knows her history. Like, she's the political, like she has the stuff to be a political pundit and work on campaigns and all that. And I was like, just let me talk to her. Anybody censored or canceled, I love to talk to. So I had her on, and I look at my Twitter, and this guy whose name I haven't even thought of in probably 5, 6, 7 years responds to it. And I was like, I have triggered this person. I'm like, who is this person? And then I was like, oh my God, I did a podcast with him like 1 or 2 times with a mutual friend. And this was just in response to me interviewing Laura Loomer. By the way, does this person follow me? No. So this person acts like we're friends, we're buds. Jesus Christ, Chrissie, less than 300 likes cannot be worth it. I'm really sad to see that your desire for fame has brought you to this point. I really hope you find some peace, because your recent posts are 100% fucked. You used to be so silly and funny, and now you're just hateful. This is just from an interview with Laura Loomer. Like, literally no comment. Did he listen to this interview? Probably not. But I'm hateful for interviewing somebody. And I just wrote, hi, what's up, Tommy? How have you been?
The sweetest pie.
And by the way, it's like, this is after the fact I realized he is
spreading love.
He's
spreading love.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So full of love spreading.
He seems very sad and dissatisfied with his life.
I'm doing well. Still extremely gay. Has to let everyone know he's gay. Still extremely gay and spreading love. Sad to see you making unfunny jokes about fried chicken. That was the one on Newsmax from last week. And retweeting jokes about black people and bananas. That was a Nick DiPaolo joke that I retweeted. Annoyed to see you aligning with folks who instigate fights with and express disdain for my fellow LGBT cuties. All of this just from, and he commented on Bryson Gray was just in my show Wet Spot on Compound Media on Monday, and he was in Times Square, and he posted a photo of him wearing a red sweatshirt. It looked like the MAGA hat, but it said like "Make America Straight Again," and I didn't even realize that's what his hat said. I thought it just was a regular MAGA hat, and I retweeted it, so that triggered him too. But I do wish you well, and always hope that you decide to be funny again someday. You have a special talent. And I was like trying to decipher like what this guy was A, triggered about, and B, like what he meant by this. And I was like, we're not friends. I haven't heard or spoken to you in like 5 or 6 years. And the fact that he said, hope that you decide to be funny again. It's like, I'm still funny. I would argue that I'm funnier than I was when I was friends with this guy. But it's just, I feel like he's basically just telling me to shut up or speak the views that he has. And it's very shitty and controlling to write these kind of comments on someone who you literally have not even spoken to in years. And then I said to Tommy, if you're looking specifically for LGBTQ content, you should check out my interview tonight with trans activist Rita Love at 9 p.m. I've had dozens of interviews with LGBTQ people on my channel. It's very inclusive. No thanks. I'd rather get HIV all over again. I've seen your LGBTQ content and I think it's unoriginal. Like your sad Target post on Insta. I wouldn't even consider that content. I think that's just a post. When I think of content, I think of like interviews and videos, but maybe I'm different. And B, ugly. You talk one way to our face and another when we're not around. I have not seen this person in 5 or 6 years, so I'm really not sure what this means. I hope your tens of viewers enjoy your show tonight. Oh dear Tommy. I just feel sad for you. Like
That's how
he's
I
not even following me. He has no clue what he's talking about because I'm the same person. I have the same sense of humor.
The energy I'm picking up on is just sadness. I feel a deep dissatisfaction from this person. I said that I didn't have a big blowout with my leaving Hollywood thing, but right around the election, when I think it was the day that I'm going to tie this together. The day that the election results were like getting disputed. It was like in real time. I just like posted some picture of me like rolling my eyes or something. It was like a cute picture. And I said a caption that was kind of like vague. And it was like, wouldn't need to dispute a fair fight or something like that. Because I was at home, I was cooped up and I was pissed about what was happening with the election. And then this guy, he was like a singer that we were like loosely friends with. He was like an alcoholic or whatever, but like blocked me, DM'd me that I'm disgusting. And then to like posted about me on his fucking page. Just unfollowed this Trumpette or something like that. And I'm just like, wow. It's, and like, look, I've always been like one of the, I've always considered myself like quite socially liberal. Like always thought I was like one of the liberals when I was in Hollywood, and then one little thing. And I just think I would never wear a hat that says "Make America Straight Again," but I'm sensing like a deep-seated like anger and emotional instability with a certain community.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. And like, thank you, K-Max, in the chat for having my back. When does Chrissy ever attack the gay community? And it's like this person came to know me when I was hosting a monthly show at the Stonewall Inn. But I
Is this live right now?
What?
Is this live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
I didn't know that. No, it's okay. It's cool. It's fine.
Oh yeah, we're live. You haven't said anything bad. Don't worry.
I just cursed a little
Okay.
bit. Sorry.
Whoops. Okay. You know what? I think I need to remind people that I do this show live because I figured because Jamie Kennedy didn't know that I was doing it live the other day, and he was like, "Oh my God." I had Jamie on, like last week. It was so great. It was so great to talk to him.
He's awesome. I had him on the B podcast and interviewed him. He's a doll. Like, honestly, I think he has a really good heart. It's
interesting to hear him talk about Hollywood because he's one of the few people I know, because my friends are all like really independent creators. That's like was really and still is like truly in Hollywood.
But he's actually one of the ones that I was talking about when we were talking before we hit record or went live about how I feel like I still feel that fear. It's dissipating more and more every day, but that fear of every time I hit upload, it's like, am I going to piss some people off? And by the way, even my most tame content, people are going to find something to be upset about. So I'm just like, look, and I don't reply, by the way. I noticed that you knew the guy, so you were like willing to face that. I often like will draft a reply and I'm like, I'm just going to delete it. Like, don't be.
That's actually smart because usually the best thing is to, unless someone has a big following, it's probably not worth it to respond because you're just amplifying whatever they're saying.
And they never do, at least on my Instagram. I had like a video go like my most viral video ever. It was about like girls with anxiety. People say they have, I have anxiety, and like they vape and drink coffee. And like, I'm like, it's funny. It's people, not just girls. But like, this is boiling women down to this. Like, oh wow, like anxiety is a mental illness. I'm like, okay, guys. But anyway, my point of bringing up,
you're making fun of the fact that like everyone says they have anxiety. Like you shouldn't make that part of your personality. Like you shouldn't diagnose yourself. It's just fucking take care of yourself better. Figure out what you have to do to be less anxious.
That's a great point. People are making they just want, I remember there was I want to finish my point about Jamie because he gave me some really good advice on the pod that I interviewed him on the Babylon Bee podcast. And then I'll get to my point about labels. But yeah, Jamie is a stand-up and he's touring all the time. And, I'm like, but aren't you like, afraid of He's like, it's really not like that in person. And that really talked to me because I came from the nightlife and I came from an in-person performer lifestyle. And I've stepped away from that to make this online content. And it's been really great. Like I actually am focusing on something instead of my energy in a lot of places. And it's working really well. And I'm super grateful for that. And I do feel like I have a skewed sense of how people actually feel because if I went out in person, you make a joke that's a little offensive, people still laugh, people in person react totally differently than they do online. Of course, there are those outliers, but he taught me that.
They're definitely more bolder and more asshole like online.
Yeah, they have the screen to hide behind.
And you don't face any of the in-person consequences like upsetting someone. Or
what you said about the anxiety being like part of your personality, that's like a really good insight because people want to have like, well, what are your pronouns and what categories and what boxes do you fit in? Just like put them so I can see them when I meet you. And it's so odd because I remember in the 90s and the 2000s, I would even see commercials that were like no labels, like we don't do labels, like we're just like free. And
what the hell changed?
Community.
The victim class got top billing, I guess.
It's pretty crazy because like I don't think that, and I have gay friends that are just like, I love when people say that. Oh, I have a gay friend that so like this represents, but whatever. I find it funny when people say that, but they're like, it should not be the biggest part of your personality, and it shouldn't. So it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time where people want to have a community to belong to or some sort of
I wonder
to box themselves in. It's so bizarre.
Do you ever think about moving outside of LA?
Yeah. The tough part has been finding something that has that like magic energy that LA used to have. I grew up here, so it's really hard to accept that the LA and the California even that I grew up with is like not really here anymore.
How did it feel when it was good?
I mean, it was just like a whole lifestyle. I can't explain it unless you visit it. It's just like timeless, sunny beaches, warm water. I feel like the water used to be warm. That might be a conspiracy theory, but I feel like the water used to be warm at the beach and now it's just freezing cold. And people just used to be really chill and easygoing. And LA itself had a magic, like electric energy and just creative, artistic, hopeful. At least that's what it felt like for me. And it's just not like that anymore. I would say the only place that has given me that same kind of like peace and timelessness in a sunny beach town was Hawaii. I visit Hawaii as often as I go. And I really want to live there. It's like, this could be the new California. Obviously, it's not part of the contiguous United States, so that's kind of tough. But yeah, I visited everywhere. The Texans will get mad at me because I played Californian that moved to Texas in the Babylon Bee series. That was a smash hit, which was awesome. And I love my Texans. They think I actually moved there, and they want me to move there so bad. And I'm just like, I love visiting. I really do. It's just a totally different world. And maybe one day, maybe when I'm older, but I feel like you want to be fluid and mobile in your earlier years. And then when you're really focused on settling, it's a different vibe. So, but yes, to answer your question, I can see myself outside of California now that the California that I love is a distant memory. So.
You feel like the pandemic really kind of ended that era I feel that way about New York City. But maybe it's just because I'm further along in my career and my path has taken us such a way where I don't need to be like grinding it out at Mike's every night.
Yeah. Is that where you're from?
Yeah. From Long Island, but lived in Brooklyn, lived in Queens. And now I'm up in Westchester, which is like I can get to the city every week for my Compound Media show. I could still get in if I need to jump on Sirius XM or Newsmax or something. So that part is good like that. But of course, like, family is mostly the reason why we haven't moved out yet. And you probably do get a lot of shit like, why are you still living there? Like I get that all the time. Like, why come
Where
to
else do you
Texas?
go?
What are you doing?
Where else do you go? Also, like referring to that weirdo that was like, you know, you go back to being funny or whatever. I feel like back in the 90s and 2000s, like some of the things you were saying, like you're saying, even in your intro, when you said that sounds like something you shout before you bomb
Blow
a
up a
plane.
plane? Yeah.
That was hilarious. That would not be offensive. Even after 9/11,
No.
people would still think that's hilarious. And now it's everyone's so self-righteous and sensitive, and it's just bizarre because this isn't like anything new. It's just the people have become more sensitive. It's just very bizarre what's happening. I also started watching a friend's comedy special. It's musical comedy. And I started like
Ooh.
some of and he's not like, I don't think he's based. I think he's just sort of like, he's just a talented guy. And I was reading the comments and someone said like, I love this because it wasn't offensive for no reason. And I'm just like,
Oh, no, it just didn't trigger your particular issues.
right. I was like, okay, so it was soft though. It was soft. And it's like, well, what do you want? Like for me, comedy that speaks to truth is so satisfying to watch. That's why I love Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr, because they're giving you the hard-hitting truth and they're telling it to you in a way that's like, oh yeah, that is so funny. That's true. Like I didn't think about it that way. And there has to be a truth principle to comedy, otherwise it's not going to be funny. And I think that that's why, I don't know, SNL is just not funny anymore because it's just like not comedy. It's just preaching. And
it is. And they hire all the same type. Everyone who works there, who writes there, they all have the same political opinions. They may be visually diverse, but they're not diverse with their opinions and ideas. So
yeah, it's pretty nuts. Go ahead.
What you said is interesting because sometimes I'll be like, oh, if I say something that I think triggers a lot of people, oh, you're just too soft. This is a conversation I have in my head, like these people are too soft. You're too easily triggered. I'm not going to like change my comedy at all, but I have to remember not everyone enjoys edgy humor. Like some people like soft stuff. Some people like dad jokes. Some people everyone is triggered by something. Like I did a roast battle where a girl was making fun of my mom who was currently dying of brain cancer. So everyone's got something that they're gonna be like, ugh, I'd rather not. Like if I'm being totally honest, I probably wouldn't like pedophile jokes because everyone's just got their thing that they like. But if it's a really funny pedophile joke and it makes me laugh, good, great, mission accomplished.
Like good comedy is you laugh before you know why you laughed. So like
Right.
That's how comedy should work, right? You laugh and you're like, wait, why did I laugh at that? Why did that make, because your like brain skipped a sign, like, isn't it like your brain skips a synapse or something, or it changes direction?
Yeah, because you laugh before you have time to like correct yourself, because that's
I agree with you.
Step.
Like if someone did a pedophile joke, my conspiracy theorist ass would be like, they're a pedophile. Like they wouldn't be joking about it unless there was some truth to that.
Comedy and attraction. Like you don't know why you're attracted to somebody. You just feel that you're just like, oh, who's this? Hello.
Yeah.
Same thing where you're like, I laughed. I don't really understand even things I don't understand all the way. Like it's a specific reference, like politically or something, but I'll laugh because I'll be like, I understand that that's funny.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's what makes it good, I always feel pressure when I get like brought on these things like, oh, you're a comedian. I'm like, well, I can't like tell us a joke, so.
Oh, I hate that. This is what I hate that too, because I tell everyone and everyone listening, if you ever have someone who pressures you into saying, tell me a joke, this is the joke I tell, which is a street joke. This isn't even my joke, but it shuts people up. So it's good for that. I go, okay, you want to hear a joke? It's usually an Uber driver out of town. And I'll be like, okay, mothers have Mother's Day and fathers have Father's Day. What do single guys have? And then they go, I don't know. And then I go, Palm Sunday.
Nice.
And then they don't ask me, and because it's corny, but it's a very jokey joke. And it's also like, all right, I should have just said I worked at a bank so that there would not be a follow-up.
Yeah. I think
it's all good.
Reminds me of that scene in Finding Nemo with like, you're a clownfish. Tell us a joke. I don't know. It always reminds me.
But that was cool. So you think you might want to get into more live stuff, maybe stand up?
Yes, I think so. I really crave that connection with the live audience, and there's just nothing like it. I really, really crave that. And I always did it as a musician, And I did do a few mics and I liked it. It's just totally different. So maybe I'll do a blend of the two. I have no idea. I'm planning my wedding right now. So that's kind of taking up a lot of my energy. But I'm thinking like, okay, after this is done, maybe I'll, focus on building a live show out again. Because I worked so hard on my live show as a singer-songwriter. And it was a really awesome era. And I think it'd be fun to get back out.
What was that like? Was it kind of like not musical improv at all, but was it mostly just like a regular concert, or would you do kind of like talking in between?
I would definitely do the talking in between, and I would crack jokes, but it wasn't like stand up necessarily.
Like bantering, yeah.
Yeah, it was banter. I would like guide people into the next song. I would tell a little story, and like my personality was definitely like at the forefront, and people would laugh. So I was like, I know I have stage presence. Like I know I can do it. So I just have to work on it and build a set. And I have some bits. And it's funny, it's true what they say. I mean, you just got to get up there and like instantly learn so much. It's so true. Like you really do know right away, like, okay, this didn't make sense to them. So I have to like, add these beats here. And I think I'll pick it up pretty quick, but I don't want anyone to, I don't know. I've had a lot of people in the comedy communities like, don't do it. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
No, absolutely do it. And you probably already know this. There's just something like there's an aspect of maybe with creative people, you think like, well, I'm not going to do it until I have everything planned out, either in my mind or on paper or practiced out. That's impossible. There's no way you can learn. You have to go through it. You have to learn by doing, and then you make adjustments on the way. Just same thing. Like I would have friends that would talk to me for months and years. I think I'm going to start stand up. It's like, no, you're full of shit. Like, just do it. Like, you can't think it out. You have to just act.
That's good advice. I saw that you and Lila, who I know, who's just darling.
I love
funny. I loved her stand up. I was with some people that were like, didn't really think it was. I was like, I thought it was pretty funny.
Really? What were they triggered about? What jokes of Lila's didn't they like?
They're a little more devout, I would say, just a little more devout Christian.
Okay.
And so and I I liked it. I liked it.
It's pretty tame, I think. What was it like?
I don't know.
Her jokes.
Didn't like.
They just thought she was too scandalous.
Just didn't like the sexual stuff, which I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Wow, they would hate me.
Was
this
that
in
might
Texas?
be true, huh?
Was this in Texas?
Mm-hmm. That might be true, actually, just because they don't want to talk about it ever. So it's like, okay,
It doesn't exist. Yeah,
Yep.
don't talk about it.
No. I do have to hop off in a couple minutes, but I want to thank you so much for having me on, and let me know when you're going to be out here, and I'll come to a show, or
I will
when I'm out there, and
Should I read something from the birthday book?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, would that be fun? Okay.
Yes. And I want to see
if this is right or this is bullshit. So Chandler here's a Leo, and I can tell from talking to you and like your sort of performance confidence, very Leo, by the way. Your strengths are you're indomitable, you're spirited, you're courageous. Ooh, your weaknesses, quirky, oversensitive, insecure. Advice: do your best with what you have and never allow the world to get you down. Find others of like taste and mind. Beware of anger and tyrannical tendencies. Try to remain open and trusting. Don't retreat into your own private world too much. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. You're ruled by the number 4.
Picture of this, because this is some good stuff.
this. I'll take a picture of this and send it to you.
This is some really.
Really? Sometimes it's like very personal because you're like, oh God, that's very personal. Normally 13 is not an unlucky number per se, but those born on August 13th at various times in their lives have to face seemingly insurmountable odds in their fight to come out on top and stay there. Securing a desired position, struggling to reach personal goals, or securing for a fulfilling relationship are lifelong challenges for them. Whether born unusual or made unusual through circumstance, August 13 people have a highly unique personality and outlook on life. One might think that those born on this day would be depressed by the sometimes crushing weight of difficulties or challenges. Yet, although they can occasionally suffer from quite deep depressions, understandably, and feel beaten down by life, they are more often maintain a cheerful, buoyant disposition to the world. See, this just speaks so highly of a creative person, because if you feel things deeply and you can get to, like, I can get very depressed. Like, thank God, like, Frank is an air sign, and a lot of the men, I can hear you tuning out right now, but like that's why it's so important that you have to find a partner that like evens you out, because I can get too broody and too just like meh, like depressed, and he just is like, come on, what the fuck, let's go.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you a really, I think, a good creative person, because the deeper that you can feel is that much more that you can express. Highly sensitive to criticism and prone to thinking the worst of themselves, they may nonetheless keep any insecurities to themselves and manage to remain friendly, open, and above all active. One should not mistake, however, the thinking one, those born on this day generally have to know someone for months or even years before they allow that person into their private life. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. You're not going to like let somebody in right away.
Your birthday's in October, right?
November.
Okay.
November.
Yeah, this is spot on. I'm just like, dang, that's pretty good. I want you to send me a picture.
I'm going to send this to you because you have to go. Who
just
else was born? Fidel Castro was born on your birthday.
Oh, great.
Alfred Hitchcock was born on
Hitler?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay, good.
Was Hitler born on your birthday?
No, he was born on 420.
But who was born on your birthday is Alfred Krupp, who was a German Nazi weapons maker. That's fun.
Great.
Everybody's got at least one Nazi born on their birthday.
Yeah.
Totally. It happens to the best of us. Oh, your meditation is
texting about this because I feel like we could do a whole other episode.
Oh yeah.
We could probably just keep going and going. I have to go. I have an event.
Okay. To everyone, follow Chandler. Follow her on Instagram at ChandlerJOfficial. Follow her on Twitter and on YouTube. Anything else where people can go?
Yeah, YouTube and Instagram are my main ones. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really on Twitter so much, but I check in from time to time. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. And we should definitely do another one. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch on that one at all.
Okay.
I
realized I'm like, this one's a fan. Hi, Chandler. I'm an Asian guy who uses to work at the B. Both of you guys tell a funny story about working with Adam Yenzer. Oh yeah, I used to intern with him at Conan.
Oh, you know Gavin? Is that Gavin?
I know Adam Yenzer. Yeah.
You know Adam. Yeah. Adam's hilarious. I feel like we have to keep doing this, but I have to get off.
Okay. Go.
Thank you for having me.
Love you, Chandler. Come back. We'll do this again.
I will. Keep talking. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Chandler has to go. She's got things to do. Thank you, Xander. Hi, Chandler. I'm an Asian guy who uses to work at the B. Both of you guys. Wow. Adam Yenzer. I met him when I was an intern at Late Night with Conan O'Brien in 2005. So it's 100 years ago. He seemed very professional right away. And this is for I was a college senior, so I don't know. I assume he was the same age. And just very professional, very much a serious kid. I could tell he really wanted to work there, was very serious about working on the industry side of it. And sure enough, yeah, he went on, he wrote for Ellen. Yeah, he's been in the industry a minute. Thank you. And thank you, Justin Lingle, for becoming a new member. Exactly. Love your work with the B, but fuck Seth Dillon after what he did publicly to Gavin Wax and his dodgy attitude on that Twitter space. No need to respond. It's your job. I get it. I am unfamiliar with this situation. I know that Gavin Wax does he work with the New York Young Republicans? Darn. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into that. I don't remember what that was about. K-Max, Chrissy, in your opinion, who was your most controversial guest that you ever interviewed or caused the most uproar? Was Laura up there, who they call controversial? I mostly notice are normal and logical. Yeah, I got a lot of shit for Laura Loomer. I don't really understand why. Maybe I don't know. I don't like to get hung up on the worst shit that comes up when you Google somebody. I like to see where somebody is in the here and now, hear their own voice, hear people tell their own story, because I have a ton of horrible shit written about me online from people who don't know me, who want to make me look bad. So why would I judge other people based off of that sort of thing? Who else did I get crap for? I think I got crap for Sebastian Gorka. Not as much for Roger Stone, but that was also a little while ago. I didn't get as much as I thought I would get for having Peter McCullough. I also didn't get as much as I thought I would get for having Gavin McGinnis on. Yeah. Laura might be the most crap I've gotten in a while. But it's all right. I can handle it. Just getting here. This lady's lovely. Thank you, push-ups. She is lovely. Mangus, when I meet woke liberal, I tell them my pronouns are snaps fingers and claps hands. And I tell them to use them. That's great. Isn't there like a language that's all clicking sounds? It's like an African language. Lightning bolt. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Chrissy. Do you have ticklish feet at all? All right, I know where this is going. And I'm going to redirect you, sir, to Wiki Feet. That they can... I don't think so. I would say no. I'm sorry if that hurts your boner. Yep. Okay. Wow. I love Chandler. I'm thinking like if she were to move to like maybe a Texas, it would be interesting to see how her creative life is inspired by that. I imagine living in LA would be creatively stifling at this point in 2023, because if you have even one idea outside the mainstream sort of Hollywood cult, you might feel like, oh, I can't really express that. But not everyone gets super passionate and fired up about politics or cultural issues. So, yeah. Anyway, she was the best. I enjoy her a lot. Guys, tune back in. Oh, that's the rap horn. Tune back in on the channel at 9 o'clock tonight. I will have Real Love coming on. And she was the gal that got harassed recently at a Pride event just for wearing a MAGA hat. So that'll be really interesting to talk to her. Anyway, follow Chandler. She's super funny. And yeah, we'll see you soon.